Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. Welcome to this 48th day of Vedanta, Vision of Vedanta. We are looking into Brahmananande Vishayanandah. It is the 15th chapter of a text by Swami Vidyaranya that is called Panchadashi. We saw up to 20th verse yesterday and we read the 21st verse. 21st verse is Satta Chitirdvayam Vyaktam Dhivrityor Ghora Mudhayoho Shantavrittau Trayam Vyaktam Mishram Brahmethamiritam. Mishra Brahma. Brahma is actually not Mishra. It is not mixed. It is pure. But we understand the language of the world because we see the world outside. So we are experiencing it. The first possibility is to experience Brahman only as mixed. Mishra Brahma is mixed Brahman iti iritam. It is called so. What is called mixed Brahman? Satta chitihi dvayam vyaktam dhi vrityoho ghora mudhayoho. Ghora means rajas. That movement of mind which is rajasic in nature is ghora. It is called rajas. The other word is ghora. Mudha is inertia. It is called tamas. And in these two states of mind, only the Sat and Chit aspects of Brahman are revealed. Sat means existing. Yes, it is there. I know this quality is there. This anger is there. This inertia is there. So Sat is there. And then what is the nature of that? Chit. Those two are revealed. Shanta Vrittau Trayam Vyaktam. In the Shanta Vritti, in that state of Sattva Guna, Shanta Vritti means the calm state of mind. All three, Sat, Chit. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness or knowledge. Ananda means bliss. Ananda is joy. And that is called Mishra Brahman. Amishram Jnana Yogabhyam Taucha Purvam Udir. We finished all these verses yesterday. So today's verse is Asatta Jadya Dukhe Dve Maya Rupam Tvayam Tvidam Asatta Narashringadau Jadyam Kashta Shiladishu. Asatta. Jadya and Dukkha in the Ghora and Mudha Vritti. Asatta. Asatta is not Sat. Non-existence. What is non-existence? Maya Rupam. Asatta. In Sat also, in the thought also, the thoughts about some things that don't exist. For example, the examples are given here. In the Sattva Guna also, we may get thoughts sometimes of non-existent things. What are they? Narashringa, human being with horns. Then you have Kha Pushpa. Guruji here quotes a very beautiful shloka. Mriga Trishnam Bhasi Snataha Kha Pushpa Krita Shekaraha Esha Vandhya Suto Yati Shashashringa Dhanurdharaha. This is called Asat. Somebody is pointing out to a man. Where did that man take bath? Mriga Trishnam Bhasi. He took bath in a mirage water. Snataha. Then he adorned himself with flowers. What flowers? Kha Pushpa Krita Shekaraha. He had a he had a crown made of sky flowers, flowers from the sky, which was just floating in the sky. He took those flowers and then he made a crown. He was wearing a crown. Esha Vandhya Sutaha. He was born to a woman who could not give birth to children. Okay. So, meaning by no other means. In these days, you can even say test tube baby and all that. No possibilities were there. So, he was born to such a woman. Yati, Yati, Shashashringa. He was having a bow which is made of the horns of a rabbit. Shashashringa Dhanurdharaha. So, it is very comical, which means none of these are there actually. So, that is called Asat. In this Asat, then Jadya in inertia, and in Dukkha, which is Ghora, Vrittis, Dve, Maya Rupam Trayam Tu Idam. In this Jadya and Dukkha and Asat, it is controlled by Maya. Maya means that power of this universe which is manifesting in non-existence. Maya Rupam Trayam Tu Idam Asatta Narashringadav. Asat means like human being with horns. Jadyam, where do you experience inertia or inert objects? Kashta Shiladishu. Kashta means in wood and in Shila, in stone. We experience Asatta in all these aspects of Jada, Ghora, and Asat when it comes to non-existent thoughts. Ghora mudhadhiyor dukkham evam maya vijumbhita shantadi buddhi vrityaikyat mishram brahmeti kirtitam ghora mudhadhiyoho dukkham. In the rajasic and tamasic thoughts, dukkham is experienced. We experience sorrow also because there is absence of joy. There is no joy. Only in sattva we experience joy. In rajas and tamas we don't experience joy, which means the possibility of experiencing sorrow is there. That is why what is rajas? Activity is rajas. But when we get very intense with the activity, it gives us sorrow. And sleep is tamas. But when we are very intensely sleeping all the time, then that sleep can give us sorrow. Any drinks like alcohol and drugs also, initially it may give a very nice experience, but then later on it leads us to sorrow. So ghora mudha diyoho, because there is no happiness present in those. There is no joy in these objects and situations and activities. Evam maya vijrumbhita. Maya is very completely expressed. Maya means that power of Brahman which is not, which is present in absence. Vijrambhita Shantadi Buddhi Vritya Aikyat. Along with the Rajas, the Ghora, Mudha, and the Shanta, when we are associated with these three thoughts, that Brahman, that self, is called Mishritam Brahma iti Kirtitam. It is called Mishrita Brahma. एवं स्थिते त्रयो ब्रह्म ध्यानम ध्यातुमिच्छेत् पुमानसौ नृशृंगादिम् उपेक्षेत शिष्टं ध्यायेत् यथा यथम. So, if such a person who is associated with these three states of mind, meaning sattva, ghora, and mudha, which is called Mishra Brahma. It is not Nirguna Brahma, it is Mishra Brahma. If such a person who is associated with these kinds of activities, thoughts, and emotions, if he wants to meditate, Brahma, Dhyatum Icchet, if he is desirous of meditating, Nrishringadim Upekshya, Shishtam Dhyayet, Nrishringadim, he should exclude asat. Asat means nrishringa, like thoughts like human being with horns, or rabbit with horns, or desert, what is this called? Water, seeing a mirage water, or a rope where there is a snake. These are all non-existent things. There is only the rope. We are seeing the non-existent because the mind is disturbed. Because the mind is disturbed, we are seeing things that are not existing, which means keep the mind calm. When you keep the mind calm, the thoughts will be clear. So basically, it is saying avoid all these kind of thoughts. Upeksheta, should ignore. Shishtam dhyayet, yatha yatham. So that person should meditate on everything else that is not asat. Earlier, asat is even the sky flowers and the mirage, erroneous perception is asat. Then rajas is also coming under the category of asat. And tamas is also coming under the category of asat because it gives dukkha. The uh, the the vrittis in the mind, they're all, it is not talking about the objects outside like shila and what else? For Rajas, yes, Gora Mudha Vritti is Rajas, and Shila Adi is Sattva, Sat outside. Sattva Guna is good qualities. Ignore the, this is the nature of Maya. Whatever, wherever there is Rajas and wherever there is Tamas, Maya is at play in that place. And so we should ignore these things that have in them Rajas and Tamas here in this world. The person who desires to meditate on the Brahman, he should ignore the non-existent and meditate properly on the remaining, which means who is the one who is seeing that which is non-existent. We have a thought, for example, we have a thought of human being with horns, or we have a thought of rabbit with horns. Then we have a thought, we may even be seeing the mirage in the desert, and we may think that there is water. Leave out that erroneous perception and meditate on the person who is observing that. So that is that Brahman. This is for meditation in Sattva Guna. In the qualities of Sattva Guna, when I give up asat, when I give up the wrong, erroneous perceptions, and I meditate on the one who is observing that, then it is we are able to meditate well. And then in the case of shila and kashta, wood and stone and other objects of perception, shiladau nama rupe dve tyaktva sanmatra chintanam tyaktva dukkham ghora mudha diyo satchid vichintanam. Shila adau, like this stone and wood, you leave the nama and rupa. Nama means the name. Wood means here this computer is on a table. You can meditate on this table also. But you leave that nama, that this is a table, and so nama is a table, rupa is the form of the table. You meditate on this table means meditate on the wood. Even the name wood, you leave it. The formless condition of wood also you can leave it. The quality of the wood alone, meditate. The quality of sat, it is, that wood is existing. This table is existing. The name is existing. The isness, meditate. Sanmatra chintanam. When we meditate on that isness is a quality of Brahman. So we are remaining with that Brahman. Tyaktva. Then again, in the Rajas and Tamas, vrittis or movements of mind, where there is Rajas, for example, if I have a desire, intense desire for something, there is Rajas. And I am meditating, usually we meditate on how to fulfill that desire. Drop the name of the desire, drop the form of the desire. Then drop the dukkha or the sorrow that the desire can bring. The desire, either when fulfilled it brings sorrow, or whether it is not fulfilled it is bringing sorrow, or if it is not fulfilled to my expectations then there is sorrow. If it is fulfilled contrary to my expectations, then also there is sorrow. So that desire has sorrow in it. Leave that sorrow part of it and meditate. This actually, it's a very beautiful method in those times, which Swami Vidyaranya has written. In modern days, they are talking about it in cognitive behavior therapy. They say when you have a headache, you just focus on the name, you remove that word ache, and then you observe. You are the observer. The movement of that head, the vibrations is being observed. This is what cognitive behavior therapy says, which is actually taking us close to meditation. Here, remove all the other qualities with no reaction. This is a table. Oh, I love this table. It is a beautiful table. Don't give any energy in all these expressions, but just meditate on, yes, the table is. Leave alone the table, isness. I am experiencing isness in this. And slowly the mind turns inward. So even in the vrittis or in the waves of the mind, which are rajasic and tamasic in nature, meditate on isness. Leave the sorrow part of it. Don't react to the sorrow part of it. Don't give that sorrow any of your personal energy. All this will help us remove the sorrow very easily. We are retaining the sorrow, we are retaining the pain because with our thoughts, we are giving attention to that pain, attention to that sorrow, attention to that grief. Do whatever we need to do without giving any energetic attention to the grief, the sorrow, and the confusion. Tyaktva dukkham ghora mudha dhiyoho. Leave that sorrow part in this rajas and tamas, vrittis or intellect, these waves in the intellect, and then meditate on sat, chit, va chintanam. Satchitva. Just meditate on sat and chit. Sat means yes, this desire is. Leave the desire, meditate on the is. The desire reveals itself as a desire for some food. The desire reveals itself as desire for a home. So the thing is, it reveals itself. So there is knowledge. Meditate on is and meditate on the power of knowledge. Meditate on the power of existence. Meditate on the power of knowledge. Leave everything else from the desire. Even then, because these methods are given because we are in Rajasic Vrittis and Gora Vrittis most of the time. Most of the time in the day. With all this, if we want to meditate, it is easier to sit with those thoughts, but leave the dukkha, leave the sorrow, and meditate on the isness and the knowledge, that the power of knowledge and the power of existence of these thoughts or these feelings and emotions. So then what happens? The agitation quietens down because the meditation has turned inward into the Brahman, that power of existence and the power that reveals everything is Brahman. It is not the object. 27th verse. Shantasu Satchidanandan Trinapyevam Vichintayet Kanishta Madhyamotkrishtaha Tisras Chinta Kramadimaham. Tisraha Chinta Kramad. Shanta. So we saw earlier the Ghora and Mudha Vritti. Now Shanta Vritti. Shantasu. In Shanta Vritti means in calm thoughts, in loving thoughts, in thoughts of magnanimity, in thoughts of humility, in thoughts of quietness, in thoughts of beauty, in thoughts of calmness. Even all these thoughts, if we pay the wrong attention, then those thoughts will become rajas and tamas. So it is very important, even in the shanta or the calm thoughts, we meditate on those calm thoughts as having the power of existence. The thought is existing. I am experiencing calmness. Yes, it is. Then Power of knowledge, chit. I am able to identify this thought as calmness, that is chit, power of chit. And then this calmness is giving me joy, power of ananda. So meditate on power of sat, chit and ananda. In Gora, Mudha and objects, no meditation on ananda. In objects, only sat. In the Gora Muda Vritti, Sat and Chit. And in Shanta Vritti, Sat, Chit and Ananda. It is just, it is like giving us a hint that we don't go into these, when these thoughts are there, don't meditate on the Ananda aspect of it. We will get immersed in those thoughts because Maya is at play. Maya means the power of ignorance, which has a pull of the consciousness to the world outside, is very much at play in Rajas and Tamas and in objects of the world, objects of perception, meaning the objects of sight, form and color, objects of the hearing, which is sound, objects of the nose, sense of smell, which is smelling, all the fragrances and all the bad smells, whatever it may be, for whatever reason we may be attracted outside. Then object of the tongue, which is a different taste, an object of the skin, which is different experiences of comfort, of softness, of hardness, of texture, of satin feeling, cushion feeling, and all these things. So these will draw the mind out. Kanishtha Madhyama Utkrishtaha Tisras Chintaha Kramad Imaha. Now the gradation of these three meditations is given. When we meditate on objects as Sat existing, it is only Kanishta. It is of a lesser order. When we meditate on the Gora and the Mudha Vrittis, it is Madhyama. It is of a middle order. But when we meditate on Sattvic thoughts, that is why we have deities for meditation, like Bhagavan Shiva or Bhagavan Krishna, Rama, because they're all representing Sattvic thoughts. Kanishtaha, Utkrishtaha, that is Utkrishta. Meditating on Sattvic thoughts is very good. Tisras Chintaha, Kramad Imaha. Tisraha. All these this is the order in which we have to meditate. Mandasya vyavaharepi mishra brahmani chintanam utkrishtam vaktume vatra vishayananda iritaha. Mandasya vyavaharepi mishra brahmani chintanam. Manda buddhi means the one whose mind is always extroverted, always looking at the shiny objects around and jumping from shiny object to shiny object. It is called shiny object syndrome. It is Manda Buddhi, which means an ordinary level of intellect. So Mishra Brahmani Chintanam, only Mishra Brahma meditation is possible for such people. Utkrishtam Bhaktumeva Atra Vishayananda Iritaha. So for these people who are meditating on Mishra Brahma, that is, which includes Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, to point out that Sattva Guna meditating on Sattvic qualities only is the best. So that is why this Vishayananda, this topic of Vishayananda has been brought here, where there are three Vishayas: Sattva Vishaya, Rajo Vishaya and Tamo Vishaya. Sattva Vishaya, Ghora Vishaya and Mudha Vishaya. Ghora and Mudha are the words that are used here for Rajas and Tamas. Out of the three, meditating on Sattva is the best. And that is the reason why this chapter is here and not how to meditate on Ghora and Mudha and achieve all our objectives in this world. It is not for that. Audasinye tu dhi vrittehe shaitilyat uttamottamam chintanam vasananande dhyana muktam chaturvidham. Audasinye tu dhi vrittehe shaitilyat uttamam. Audasinya is detachment of dhi vritti. Due to all the vasanas have got exhausted, and so there is a detachment from the movements of the mind. We are no longer interested in the drama that is running in the mind. Uttama, Uttamam, which is the highest, Chintanam, Vasana Anande, meditation on bliss arises. Dhyanam, Uktam, Chaturvidham. This dhyanam is described of four types. In the detachment, due to exhaustion of the extrovert vasanas, meditation of bliss arises. When we meditate in this manner, as Sat, Chit and Ananda alone for Sattva Guna, Sat and Chit for Rajoguna, and Sat alone for objects of the world, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, Sat and Chit, and objects of the world, Sat alone. So thus the four types of meditation are described. Nadhyanam jnana yogabhyam brahma vidyaiva sa khalu dhyanenaikagramapanne chitte vidyasthiri bhavet. Nadhyanam, it is not meditation, jnana yogabhyam, as it is accompanied by knowledge and yoga. Brahma vidya eva sa khalu. It is not called dhyana, but it is only Brahma vidya. It is only knowledge. Indeed, dhyanena, by meditation, ekagryam apanne. When we meditate, the mind becomes one-pointed. And once in that one-pointed, knowledge shines and we don't need to do anything after that. Chitte, in the mind, vidya, sthiri bhavet. The knowledge gets firmly rooted through the process of meditation. All the four exercises are not just meditations, but they are Brahma Vidya. Like on the objects of the world through the five senses, when we meditate as Sat, and when we meditate on the Ghora and the Mudha Vrittis as Sat and Chit, and on the Sattva Vritti as Sat, Chit and Ananda, it is Brahma Vidya. It is not meditation, it is just Brahma Vidya, because in the process of meditation, the mind gets concentrated and the knowledge of the truth of the reality shines. We come to realize that Brahman because the mind becomes still. Vidyayam Satchidananda Akhandaikarasaatmatam Prapyabhanti na Bhedena Bhedakopadhivarjanat. In true knowledge, Satchit Anandaha, existence, consciousness and bliss, Akhanda Ekarasa Atmatam. This existence in true knowledge, in reality, in that Brahman, this Sat, I am, Chit, I know I am, Ananda, I experience the joy that I am. All these three are Akhanda Ekarasam. They are not part, they are not in parts. It is not that I know now and I don't know 10 minutes later. I exist now and I don't exist in the state of sleep. Not like that. I am happy now and 10 minutes later I am unhappy. It does not happen like that, because that Brahman is Akhanda Eka Rasa Atmatam. That Brahman is a self. It is Akhanda, it is unbroken, it is Eka Rasa. It is just one flow of that reality, the truth. Atmatam, it is I. Prapya, Bhanti. After that person arrives at that and it shines within, Na Bhedena Bedakaha Bedakopadhi Varjanat. That person is not suffering from the problem of differences anymore, because all the upadhis, all the limitations that cause the disturbances, the agitations and the differences are all gone from his mind. There are no other thoughts except the thought about the truth, reality or Brahman, which is established in itself. Sve Mahimni Pratishtita. Brahman is not dependent on anything else. It is not dependent on Sattva Guna. It is not dependent on Rajoguna. It is not dependent on Tamoguna. It is established in itself. When the person realizes that self, then they are not dependent on anything else. Shanta Ghora Shiladhyascha Bedakopadhayo Mataham Yogat Vivekato Vaisham Upadhinam Apakritihi. Shanta, in the calm thoughts, Ghoraha, in the rajasic thoughts, Shiladhyascha, in the tamasic thoughts pertaining to objects like wood, stone and all that, Bedakaha Upadayaha mataha. They're all the limiting adjuncts. They're all got upadhis, or they cause the different conditionings in the objects we see around us, in our perceptions, in our thoughts, in our emotions and feelings. The differences are happening because of these three vrittis: Shanta, Ghora, Mudha, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. Yogat Vivekataha Va Esham. With the help of yoga means quietening the mind through meditation, vivekataha, or through discrimination between this is shanta vritti, this is gora vritti, this is mudha vritti. Either by yoga, which is quietening the mind, or by discrimination between the three, esham, of these, upadhinam apakritihi. These conditionings can be removed by meditation and by distinguishing between them and meditating separately and understanding. The four meditations that were told is discrimination, distinguishing and meditating. Apakritihi, these can be removed. Nirupadhe Brahma Tattve Bhasamane Swayam Prabhe Advaite Triputi Nasti Bhumanandota Uchyate. Nirupadhi Brahma Tattve. In that Brahman which has no upadhis, which has no conditionings of qualities like sattva, rajas and tamas. Bhasamane Swayam Prabhe, that Brahman shines by itself. Advaite Triputi Nasti. In that Advaita, in that Brahman, that non-dual Brahman, there is no Triputi of the one who is seeing, the one who is the object that is seen, and the process of seeing. The one who is experiencer, experienced, and the experiencing. One who is the doer, the doing, and the object done, the work done. The one who is a seer, seeing, and the seen. All these differences are not there in that Brahman, and that is called Bhumanandaha. Bhumananda means Bhuma, means Ma Bhu iti Bhuma. That which is not created is Bhuma. Bhu means creation. Ma Bhu means not created. That is consciousness, awareness. And that alone is, when we are in that, we don't experience any differences in our feelings, emotions, thoughts, words, actions, in this whole perception of the world. We experience an undifferentiated bliss. Brahmanandabhidhe granthe panchamodhyaya iditaha Vishayananda etena dvarenantah pravishyatam. Brahmananda Abhidhe Granthe. In this third part of Panchadashi, which is called Brahmananda, this text, Panchamaha Adhyayaha, the fifth chapter or the 15th chapter, because Panchadashi is of three groups. First is Sat, the second is Chit, Jnana Deepa, the first is Viveka, the second is Deepa, and the third is Ananda. So Brahmananda Abhide Granthe, the fifth part, Adhyayaha Panchamaha, Iritaha, it is dealt with Vishaya Anandaha. Why do we talk about Vishayananda? The author is explaining, Swami Vidyaranya. It is not to engage in Vishaya and to revel in Vishaya or objects of this world. This Vishayananda etena dvarena. Through this Ananda of Vishaya, when I experience the joy, the Sattva Guna, the Rajo Guna, and the Tamo Guna, which we are experiencing, through that experience, how to enter into Brahmananda. Etena dvarena, by this gateway, antaha pravishyatam, enter into this bliss of Brahman. So entering into Brahman is important, and not reveling in these gunas or the three vrittis, the Sattva, Ghora, and Mudha. Priyad harir haronena प्रियाधरिर्हरो नेन ब्रह्मानन्देन सर्वदा पायाच्छरीरिणः सर्वान् स्वाश्रितान् शुद्धमानसान् प्रियात् हरिः हरः anena. May Hari and Hara, Hari is the one who removes ajnana. Sakashat ajnanam harati iti Harihi. That consciousness, that presence of Vishnu removes my removes my ignorance. That presence of Shiva, which removes my ignorance, Brahma Anandena Sarvada Payat. May I always, may he protect me, and by this act, by this part of reading and contemplating on the bliss of Brahman, may Hari and Hara remove my ignorance. May they be pleased and remove my ignorance. Payat Sharirinaha. May he protect these embodied ones, all these embodied beings, all of us, by studying this, by contemplating on this, and by meditating on this, may we be protected. Swashritan Shuddha Manasan. Swashritan. All those people who take refuge in this consciousness, in this Brahman, in this bliss, in this Hari, in this Hara, may they be protected. May all those people who are pure of heart, pure of mind, may they be protected. This is the Ashirvachanam, the blessing that Swami Vidyaranya, he gives us as he concludes this beautiful text. And we come to the end of Panchadashi actually. We have not studied all the chapters of Panchadashi. We have done Nataka Deepa Prakarana. We have done Mahavakya Vivekaha. We have done Brahmananande Vishayanandah. So sometime later, after maybe some 1 week later, we can begin with Tripti Deepa Prakarana of Panchadashi, which comes in the Deepa Prakarana part in between. And we can complete the other chapters also slowly. Let us see. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadeva. Hari Om.